Hey guys, it's Blender TUT, and I know it's been a really long time since I've done a tutorial, but I figured it was about time I do another one. Today we're going to be learning match moving with VooCat. A lot of people with Blender before the camera tracker was added in um, use something called Voodoo, and this is by the exact same people. It's and one reason I really like this is it's fully automatic. Wow, I'm saying a lot of ums. Well, it's fully automatic. It allows masks, grid alignment, and all this cool stuff. But it's only $100, and it really speeds up things. So yeah, I'm using VooCat 1.6. It's by VizCoda. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So I'm going to teach you how to track the scene and use all of these markers. But then we're going to go ahead and import the scene into Blender and just render like a cube in our scene. Add some shadows or whatever. And then after that, you can continue watching the tutorial. I'm going to export. I'm going to go into 3ds Max and import our data. So yeah, I'm going to be using 3ds Blender and 3ds Max. Just dual tutorial here. So yeah, let's get started. So to go ahead and load your sequence, press load sequence up here. Click this little button. I'm just going to be using some stock footage I found online. Click open. You can see what it looks like. It'll try to set the settings automatically, but for whatever reason, this always stays at 25 frames per second. In this case, I know 25 frames per second is right, but sometimes it isn't, so you have to check your frame rate. And format, unknown, yeah, I don't know what that's about. So yeah, a couple of things. Lens distortion, if you click add line, you'll get this line. And what you're supposed to do is line this up on a vertical surface and a horizontal surface. So in my case, that would be right here. Whoa. I forgot you can actually connect them. So yeah. And you can just connect them by doing what I just did, like dragging on top of a point. As you can see, that's kind of what this is. So what you do is you just adjust the value so that the lines look straight, but for a fact, I actually happen to know that this scene has already been fixed. So yeah, these little things on the ground here are tracking points if you haven't figured that out already. And all the external stuff like these lights up here, the TV, this is something you'll do in your post software. So yeah. Anyway, let's get started. So mask edit. What mask is, when you're tracking your scene, if there's an object that's moving in your scene, so like walking around, you'll need to place a mask. As you can see, she's like perfectly still, like not even moving. But if you want to make a mask because you have an actor walking or whatever, click new mask, you'll get this point. And just draw a point around your actor. Like whatever, it can be as accurate as you want. Then just connect it and you'll get like dark. Just select the individual points by left clicking. You can select all of them by double just go like that. You can change the selection type by up here. You have rectangle, rectangle, circle, lasso. So yeah, but you can just go ahead and move this around. So what you do is you just then you just go ahead and move the points so that she's. Oh, and to unselect all points, just click anywhere that's not on the mask. So yeah, then you just want to fix that, and then you just want to keep adjusting the points. so that it works. And then what you'll end up with is this mask that transforms. And what this mask will do is it'll just make sure that no points are placed in here. And if you have an actor moving, it's very important to do this because it will screw up your track like crazy. As you can see, you can jump to keyframes. Also just transparency, so that's just blue or it's clear, you know. I usually work with pretty dark transparency. You can change the color. I don't know why that's important, but you can. See, red, like freaking green. That's kind of funny, but does it have a... No, it doesn't have like color selection tool, so, but that's really not that important. And you can name your mask, blah. But to get rid of a mask, simple, just select all the points, delete. I mean, right? Alright, tracking tab, woohoo, fun part. Okay, you have a lot of little options here, but we're going to stick with, you have manual or automatic. I'm going to go ahead and do with automatic because for most times you're going to be using automatic. But I'm going to be showing you how to add manual points in to our scene for the automatic track. And that's going to be basically how you'll do the regular manual track. So let's get doing the automatic track. Alright, so you can... So max basically controls the maximum amount of tracking points required, as the tooltip says. Density is just how dense the points can be. Sensitivity is how sensitive it is. Structure means it'll just select pretty much in the middle. And if you go here, corner will mean it'll select on the corners. So, and preview, that'll just give you a general idea of what's going to be tracked. As you can see, if she was actually walking around, you'd have all of these points on here, and then they would get camera solved, and it would just not be good. So yeah, not good. So yeah, that's structure, and as you can see, they're kind of on the points, kind of in the middle everywhere. But if you change this to corner, you can see it moved everything to corners of something. But yeah, I would just say with structure. I mean, unless you specifically have something with like squares, I don't know why you'd need that. But I guess it's helpful. Anyways, if I turn the max up, it does nothing because the sensitivity isn't up. So see what just happens, like, oh no. Density, like that. You could actually do something like that. Density down, preview, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. If you want to reset stuff, press reset to default values. There you go. So, yeah, consistency. Consistency is basically it checks the scaling and scaling. This one just checks this translation. This one checks translation and rotation and scale. This one checks translation, rotation, position, and scale. To the frame before it to make sure everything is where it should be. Now, while this can be helpful, it can also hurt you. So I recommend just playing around with those settings and to see if it improves your track any. But I think I'll get a just great track with this. And this consistency is actually very helpful. I took a track that was 30%. In this software, the higher the better. That was 30%. I turned on the similarity one, and it raised my track to 83, I think. And it was crazy, and it was a really good. Took a bad track and just turned it into a great one. So yeah, I highly recommend that if you're having trouble. But anyway, next one, camera tracking. Keyframe selection mode. Duh, right? You can select automatic and I'll just determine which ones are the best and solve those. Or you can click manual and select the ones you want to use. You'll notice that these are like plus symbols, and that just means they're 2D points. And they'll become circles later, and that means they're 3D points. And if you want to start camera solving or camera tracking, whatever, from a specific frame, you can have it here. Oh, actually, you know what? Ignore that. Blah, blah, blah. That was so wrong. I was thinking about something else at that time. I think, like, if in Blender, it's kind of like the frame with motion. But, alright, to be honest, it's either the frame of motion or the frame it starts. But, So the frames that have the most motion, I think this is what that is. Same as Blender, but don't take my word on that. Just go up here and check the help documents, because I honestly can't be sure what this is. But yeah, the help documents are easy to read, great. They're just great. Very simple too. Okay, so now you have a couple things. Perform refinement after tracking. I would go and click that because it just gets rid of all the points that are bad. You can also do it manually by clicking this. No visualization will just make it so that you don't see the track going on, but in most cases, it really doesn't increase speed. Sorry about that, but it really doesn't. Okay. Locator tool will allow us to add manual tracking points to our automatic track. Simple, right? Okay. So let's see. Preview that, make sure everything's good. Do I want a tracking point anywhere? Yeah, sure. Heck, why not? Let's just throw in one to show you it does work. I'll throw in one right over here. So go ahead and click Enable Locator Tool. Crap. Oh, right. Duh. You have to actually track your scene first. Then you can do this. But, alright, so let's go ahead and just press the track button. Woohoo! Okay. And as you can see, green tracks mean good, red, bad. You know, not hard to figure out. As you can see, this is a nodal pan with just a very little bit of movement. As you can see, most of these tracking points are actually staying on pretty good. And as you can see, it solves pretty quick. Ooh, 62%. Anything above 60 is actually good quality. So, but yeah, like I said, playing with the consistency check can really help you. So I'm just going to turn on translation and go ahead and track that. Go ahead and see if that makes a difference. If it does, we'll go ahead and keep it. And we're going to go ahead and try album. I usually try to get my tracks to be above 70 because then they're like pretty solid, like almost like rock solid. Anything above 80 is like almost not even going to move. And then 90, if you can get it up there, it's going to be like rock solid. But anything above 60, you won't even notice the movement. So yeah. Let's see. Does this improve it? 68. I think that last result was a little bit less. See how that works? But I've had really good results with this similarity check. See, I'm going to go and track over with that. See if I can't get up to 70. Overall, if I were to rate this software out of 10, just to give you a helpful hint on how I'm rating this. Blender's camera tracker, I would rate that just a 4 out of 10, mostly because its feature tracking isn't all that great. But if Blender had great feature tracking, I'd probably rate it about 9 because it's actually really good. Mocha, I would rate about 6 because you have to do a lot of work. See that? 70%. See how much that improved it? That's what I'm talking about. Buju, I have used that once. I would rate that around 10. Synthize, 9. PF Track, 10. Like, I mean, those software are just great. I would probably rate this one around probably about 7 or 8 because I'll tell you the reason later, but when you're actually trying to align the grid, you can't actually see it in here. And that's a huge problem. I can't even tell you. Because it's impossible to align the grid when you can't see it. But we'll look at solutions later. So yeah, as you can see, 70%. That's awesome. So let's go ahead and see a fine. Try that one. And go ahead and track that over. So yeah, it's even in the best camera tracking software and most expensive like Buju. It's mostly just kind of repeating your track, improving, and just seeing what's going to improve your track. But yeah, VooCat overall, it's a pretty solid tracking package for $100 for match moving. I haven't had any problems with it. And as you can see, it's pretty simple. It works good. It's fast, and you know. For updates, they usually update this around probably, I would say, every 3 months or so. But yeah, as you can see, the affine mode improved it by 4% or whatever. So yeah, as you can see, just by showing you there, those consistency checks can really improve your track. So yeah, it's a great feature. Highly recommend using it. And that's just one of those things that makes me love this software. Okay. So, locator tool. Go ahead and click enable. As you can see, the X will be there now. The one option you'll have is snap to corner. That'll just assist you and snap it to the corners and stuff. And I really don't think we need any, but so I'm just going to tell you how to put the stuff there, how to put it on the scene. So you're just going to enable the locator tool, and then you're going to hold Control or Command on Mac. And you'll get this little arrow, and then you can just press anywhere. And you can place as many points as you want. You can place 1 billion points, okay? Look at a billion points, okay? 1 billion points. All right? And then you just press the track button, and it'll go ahead and track these and add the point. This is such, like almost all software, tracking software has this, but this is such a good feature because sometimes you just need to know the location in 3D space of where you want to put that object, and this is such a great feature. But when you're working in a scene like this, when almost every single point is tracked, you don't need this. You don't need to do any extra work. And this is just great. As you can see, I can just go ahead and group select these and delete them. I'm trying to be careful. Oh, you know what? I should totally use the lasso tool. But I'm not going to because I have a crush on the square tool. Okay. Alright. Almost done. Boom. And boom. Alright, cool. So, test scene. I think I've covered everything in here. Yep. Okay, so guys, if you do want to see how to manual track, go ahead and post it in the comments and I'll put a video, but it's very simple. Cancel. I mean, you'll see snap to feature, and it's basically exactly what we did right here. So, just think of manual is only the tool here and no automatic tracking. That's basically what it is. So yeah, let's go on to the next tab, which is the test scene tab. As you can see the grid here, but if we go into 2D space, the grid just disappears, and there's no way to actually like change that back. See, you can't really do anything here to change that back. I mean, it's a terrible system. But if you want to test your tracks, go ahead. You can add the object to the scene and then position it. But I highly recommend doing it. Just finding where you want to track. Go ahead and selecting that point. I'll go ahead and grab this one in the middle. Selecting that point, right-clicking, add object, and then select your object. I just use cone because heck, let's use a cube. Then you go up here. You got your translation, rotation, scale, or you can just turn them on all at once. Be amazing. Okay. I feel that this is in a very bad location. I feel it should be like over like this, you know. And you'll notice that there is no shadows. And again, this is not compositing software. So yeah, this doesn't add shadows for you. But yeah, and when you go to scroll through here, you'll see that we have a pretty good track right there for that object. I mean, can you see any freaking movement besides the actual stuff? Because I really can't. So I think that's amazing. It just looks awesome. Okay, enough of that. There was one thing I wanted to see. Oh yeah, you can change the object's color. That's not what I was going to say, but you can change the object's color here. Pink or whatever. And these little buttons change how you're viewing the object. You can center it to the origin. Oh, actually. Yeah, selected object, which would be our object right here. That's the currently selected one, as you can see. Go ahead and fix it to there. Just make it center. And as you can see, you can actually see how the track is working. As you can see, it works very nicely. You can go ahead and scale it to the camera. See, like that. Or you just go here. Huh, not exactly. Oh yeah, this is for 3D only. I remember that now. Okay, to get into 3D, 2D scene, click this button here. Da, 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 da. Okay. Now to maneuver around in 3D space in the 3D scene, go ahead and hold the left, go ahead and press 1 to pan, 2 to zoom in, and 3 to swivel around. Oh, if you're wondering, you have to do this with the left mouse button. So 1 and the left mouse button is pan, 2 and the left mouse button is zoom, 3 is swivel. So yeah, just 1 on your keypad or on your number keys, whatever. So yeah, so you can see we have a pretty good drag. So what you'll immediately notice is this is supposed to be the ground, but yet there are points under the ground, but that's impossible. That can't be, right? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. And there's one good thing about this scene, which I have noticed. If we go back to 2D view, as you can see, all the points that should be on the floor are on the floor. Now, this is kind of a little bit interesting on the way I'm saying this, but as you'll notice, there's a lot of points on the floor, and they're all in the exact same position relative. So it's going to be easier to line up the grid. Now, there's a couple ways to line up the grid. One, in this view, you can select points and line them up based on those points. See, align grid to selection. So how you would align this up based on points would you be select points to line them up. In this case, you would select vertical like that. Then you'd want to select across. So basically a square like that, and then you click. If we actually just go to our 3D scene here, you can see what happens. Ready? Align ground selection. It'll do that, and it'll make a very annoying pop-up. Sorry about that, but as you can see, all of our points are where they should be now. See, they're all where right. I mean, in this case, for this footage, it is easy to line it up, mostly because all the points were even. All the points were even and already directly on the ground. But when you have a scene that, for example, does up and down, camera goes up and down, forward, and moves, and it's going between objects, it's going to be impossible to line this up. I mean, because you're going to have all these points on the top, bottom. You're not going to be able to tell where anything is, and it's just going to be a pain. But yeah, otherwise, the other ways you can move the grids is just by select ground grid, and then using the translation tools. And this method is very good if you can actually see the grid with the camera. Can't do that though. As you can see, this view right here just locks us to the camera. Not very helpful. I mean, look, I guess it's helpful for some things, but as you can see, it just locks us to the camera with it. And as you can see, this could actually be used as object tracking. It actually can't, but as you can see, you can actually see our person right there, and it's actually almost the exact same size as her. And what I think would be a very interesting thing to try out would be when you're in Blender or whatever software, select all the points that make up her, that are on her, and use the skin wrap modifier or whatever it's called in Blender, and just see if it actually makes like a model that looks like her. That would be very interesting to see. But yeah, anyway, like I said, it's a pretty good software. Points seem to be all lined up now. Oh, right. It's important to note you can't swivel around when you're in this mode. You have to be in this mode, free camera. And as you can see, it just put me in some wacko doodle mode, but whatever. As you can see, looks good. As you can see, you can actually like really tell that's right. That's her. So you can see there are some problems like under the grid, but for this one, I think it's pretty good. And you can see the camera just go ahead and follows that yellow path. Looks pretty good. And all these points are just kind of transiting and disappearing. You won't notice them in the final thing. So yeah, that's basically it. Manual movement, that just selects how it's going to move. World, it's going to move it on the world transform. Ground grid, it's going to move it relative to the ground grid or relative to the scene. Yeah, since I like my ground grid movement, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it like that. I mean, we have our beautiful cube. So yeah, I don't really see any problems. Select right there, add object, texture, triangle mesh, and it didn't work, but yeah, it's right here, over here. Oh, duh, right. I guess just didn't add it, so. Oh well, but whatever. Like I said, testing, it's pretty good. So yeah, that's basically it for this tracking. Well, up here you can save your scene so that you don't have track stuff all over. Go ahead and like save project as. You can just be like track. Click save. I'll go ahead and save your scene. You can open, new, I mean, pretty standard stuff, right? Undo, redo, help. Got settings. I highly recommend turning that off. Otherwise, you'll be spammed with frickin' icons in your taskbar. You got about, which just shows the stuff by them. Got the status, number of images, 215. Number of 2D points, 252. Number of 3D points, 1,735. Full length of the camera, horizontal field of view, the RMSE air, the lower the better, and holy crap, this is just an amazing RM. RMSE air. This is the lower the better track quality is. Anything below 1 is amazing. Try to stay below 2. And anything above 60 is good. You can get away with 50 though if you're careful. But yeah, time for the last tab, and that is the export. Here we go. Export. As you can see, everything from the previous tabs just disappears, except for the tracking points. Those always stay. You can, if you use the lens distortion and fixed your lens distortion, you can save the undistorted images. This takes a little bit, but it takes about, depends on your image quality and everything, but it's pretty quick. Yeah. You can export all 3D points. That exports everything here. You can export selected 3D points. That exports only things that are selected. You can export automatically tracked points only. That would be all of these. Or you can export manual tracked locators only. And we don't have any. But so yeah, I'm just going to go with export all. You can limit the points of how much you want to export. And as you can see, it appears here on what it's going to export. And this is very helpful. Where you see. I'm just going to export all of them. It doesn't take too long. Then you have a couple of options on where you want to save these. And there's about 10 options, and you're going to like them. So yeah. See? You can save it to a text file, 3ds Max, Maya, Blender. As you can see, you have 3 for Blender. The Blender, all these Blender ones come out with an error, but it's very simple to fix the error, and I will show you how to fix it. Save it to Lightwave, Stock Image, or XSI, Collada, Houdini, Modo. So yeah, you got quite a thing here. And they do add support for other stuff soon, so, or they have in the past, but yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be saving this for Blender 2.61 and 3ds Max, because we are going to be doing both. That's right. That's a double tutorial for you. I taught you how to track in VooCat. Now I'm going to I'm going to talk to you how, I'm going to teach you how to import this into Blender and do some cool stuff. Then I'm going to go into 3ds Max and teach you how to import the data into 3ds Max and do some cool stuff. So yeah, you can just pick which one you want to watch. You can leave after the Blender portion, stay and watch the 3ds Max portion. Oh, and there's another thing I forgot to mention. You can do 2D export. I can't believe. I am so sorry about this. Oh, I feel like such an idiot. Anyway, if you have to track the scene, but if you track the scene and you just want to export, for example, you can do corner pin in here. That's so cool. Well, you have to go and do another compositing application, but you can do corner pin and 2D tracking. It's brilliant. And if you're doing 2D tracking, obviously you're not going to want to use automatic tracking or you're going to get all this crap. Just use manual and then track the 2D points you want. And then go ahead and go 2D export. And you can save this for After Effects, Voodoo, F-Point, or VooCat, FTV. VooCat is for Cinema 4D. Oh, by the way, that's why you can't export to Cinema 4D because they have software. But you can export to After Effects, and that's pretty much After Effects. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. I doubt I will, but I might write a script that'll take the After Effects 2D exporter, After Effects 2D file, and we'll patch it for stuff, for other stuff. But I don't really use other stuff, so that's why I'm not going to do that. But I might write one that exports to HitFilm too, because I do that a lot. So just keep an eye open. If I do, I will definitely post a video on it. So yeah, that's basically it. You can say 2D export. Oh yeah, pretty cool. I'm not sure if it just exports selected or not, but see, you can move this up and down. But yeah, if it just exports. So if you do manual tracking, you can do like a corner pin in After Effects or whatever. But yeah, this is match moving tutorial, not 2D export. And in the future, I will do a tutorial on 2D export. It'll probably be again tonight. Because right now, I'm not doing school or anything, so I have a lot of time. So I'm just killing some time. And so I will do another tutorial on 2D export probably in about 3 hours after I have dinner. Alright, time to export this. Let's go and export to Blender first. Blender 2.61. So Blender, I'll go into there first and do everything, then we'll go into 3ds Max. If you don't care for Blender, you don't want to learn Blender, whatever, just skip it. Go to 3ds Max portion if you have 3ds Max. Or if you have Blender, you can do whatever you want. You know what? Just, I think I've talked too much. Okay. Save. You can get where you want to save this. I am just going to go up one and save it there. Blender, Python files. I'm just going to say this track Blender, save. I'm going to save this again as 3ds Max, save, track 3ds Max, save. And today I do use 3ds Max more than Blender, but that doesn't mean there won't be more Blender tutorials. So yeah, just means there'll be Max tutorials and Blender tutorials. And I am hoping to upload more tutorials faster. So yeah, that's one of my goals. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and save this. I thought we just saved that. Oh, right. Wrong one. Okay. Apparently it's saved because this is grayed out. I'm just going to save it as because I really don't trust it. Just say track. Yeah, apparently it's saved out. Alright, whatever. Go ahead and close this. You're done. Use this VPGA file, whatever. Who cares? There's the Python. There's 3ds Max. Booyah, right? Alright, let's go ahead and pop open Blender. Ignore my Komodo behavior blocker. Just go ahead and run unlimited. Alright, we are in Blender 2.67b. Let's go into this just default scene. I hate working with this small stuff. So yeah, go and open that up. And what you want to do is you're going to want to split the viewport and make this a text editor. Okay, now you want to go ahead, click text, open text block. Go ahead and select your text or your Python file, the track. Okay, open text block. You'll see that this is the tracking data, raw tracking data. As you can see, it's like, holy crap, that is a lot of data. So you'll notice is, when you want to click, yeah, manage to open this right so you can see run script. Run script. Oh no, there's an error. We're dead. We are doomed. Yeah, well, it's really not that hard to figure out. Just delete this line of code. Just delete that. There, done. Now run the script. Done. I mean, it is really not that hard. Then you can just go and close the text editor. Boom. See? Problem solved. And then you see, crap. Ignore me while I set up my mouse because I'm not actually. There we go. Okay. And there you go. You have all your tracking points. You might notice that everything, first thing I thought is the camera was screwed up. And that's because you need to delete this camera. Delete. Yeah. I wish they would do that for you, but whatever. They don't. As you can see, your scene is like all screwed up in Blender. That's something you're just going to have to deal with. I mean, you can mess with the grid and the other stuff in here, but other than that, that's just something you're going to have to deal with in Blender. I'll try to find a solution, but I don't know if I will. Okay, so next we want to go ahead and go to our camera view. Camera. As you can see, oh my goodness sakes. As you can see, grid's down there. It's screwed up. I don't even want to look at it. But what it does do is it does change the aspect ratio and everything else to the correct size. So that's good. Points up on that. To get the background image, go and click M, or go and click the little plus button that was there. Go to background images, add image, open, go to your desktop, go to the test Y, go ahead and control, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking control A, I believe. No. All right, open image. You want to go movie clip. I'm very sorry about that. Turn off camera clip. Open. There we go. Now you can go desktop. Test wide. And now you can select all these, I believe. Please don't make me select all these manually. That would be absolutely terrible. Yeah, like I said, I haven't used Blender for a while. Open clip. As you can see, you can go ahead and turn that off. See, as you can see, it's like, just turn this to fit. See, it'll work fine. As you can see, boom, look at that. We have camera tracking data. And there's our little stupid default cube. I hate you. Okay, but yeah. Okay. So yeah, to actually add stuff, what you can do is go ahead and select one of your sorry, I've been working in 3ds Max. Go ahead and select one of your points. Okay, apparently they're grouped. Apparently these are all one mesh. Well, okay then, select one in edit mode because I don't give a crap right now. Select one in edit mode where you want your object to be. Now, very important. Go and click Shift C. No. Sorry, like I said, I'm a little rusty with Blender. Shift S. And now, go and click Snap. Cursor to selected. Boom. Check that. Now, get out of edit mode, and your still cursor still there. Go ahead and add whatever the heck you want. Let's go ahead and add Susie, or whatever the monkey's called. Boom. We have a monkey. Go and position it. Crap. Go and position it and scale it the way you want. Like I said, scale, yep. Scale that the way you want. Ta-da! Check that prime rib out. I mean, prime rib, whatever. Okay. Then as you can see, wow, it stays. Holy crap, that is amazing. Oh, man, I forgot. Oh, yep, smooth. Duh. Right, okay. And as you can see, wow, oh my gosh. We have a monkey. It is like freaking still, too. That's amazing. Just look at that prime steak right there. That's awesome. Okay, I think I've gotten a little over. Let's go ahead and add some shadows. Or try to add some shadows. Make sure you keep your thing centered. Another good way to do this. And go ahead and add a plane. And remember, I am a bit rusty, so if I get this wrong the first time, we're just going to have to suffer through the second time. I'm going to try to find that plane. Fine, it's probably just up here anyway. Scale. In this case, I'm just going to make it large enough so that it's covering the monkey. But yeah, this software is awesome. I highly recommend it to budget filmmakers because it is great. That is the wrong one. As you can see, it's like really weird now. My view's like really weird, but you know, you'll get used to it eventually. And if I do find a solution for this, I will definitely tell you guys because that is very important. There you go. If we go back to view camera, active camera, there, boom. There you go. We have that. Okay, now we need to create a mesh called a shadow catcher. Now, Blender render. Oh, you also Blender render. To be honest with you, if you're in Blender render, actually I haven't spent much time researching that, but obviously you're going to want to create a material on this thing. If you are in Blender render, I believe you can use the two things you can do. Okay, you can do this two ways with Blender render. I think you can use render layers, or you can use something down here. But other than that, I have absolutely no clue how to do this with Blender because I use cycles. Okay. Now, when you're in cycles, it's actually pretty easy. But, and I'm so glad they added this preview. I couldn't believe that they had never had a preview before, and it just made me so upset. Okay, how you do this? Color. I don't care about no color. Diffuse. Did they add any? Let's hold out. F12 to render, like always. Well, I'll teach you how to fix that in compositing too. I don't think holdout's the right one. Like I said, I have never actually. Subsurface, that could. I'll just use diffuse, then we'll do this in post. Anyway, if you just go ahead and F12. Boom. Okay. As you can see, you have that. Where's my render layers? Here we go. This is how I did do this in the past, don't get me wrong. I have done this in the past, I just not sure how to do it now because I forgot. I'm going to create a new render layer, call this shadow, and I know I sounded like a horse right there. Layer scene. It needs to, oops, that needs to be only on that scene. Mask layer. And that should be there. We want to exclude the first one. There we go. Okay. Actually, no, you don't want to exclude that. Okay. Passes. Combined. Up. Here we go. Z depth. Put that in a different channel. Otherwise, just turn on shadow. And I am actually taking a very big guess right now because I have absolutely no clue if this is going to work. So yeah. Let's hope for the best. And I'm just realizing that I'm probably not going to be able to make this work if I don't have a light in my scene. You know, that's probably not going to work out for me too well if I don't have a light. So yeah, let's go ahead and fix that by adding a light. Or a lamp. You know what? I'll just make a spotlight. Now, this is not a compositing tutorial. There will be another one on compositing, but just keep that in mind. This is not a compositing tutorial. Because if it was, I'd actually go into detail on how you're supposed to light your scene. But for now, I'm not going to. But this is a pretty long and in-depth tutorial, so yeah. I don't know, is it just me or does it feel like that light does not work? It's good, we're getting the shadow, but it's not transparent like I need. Oh, duh. Stupid. I forgot 3ds Max handles automatic transparency, but this doesn't. So I have to go here. You have to go to your material. Settings. No, not there. It's somewhere. I'll get it. Don't you worry. Here we go. Transparent. There we go. And render. And that did absolutely nothing. Well, I'm officially sad. Well, now I have two options. I could just try to fix this in here. Or... I'm sorry, but that keeps just bothering me. Or what I could do is fix it in compositing, and I think that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, I know how to composite this in 3ds Max, mostly because it's pretty easy, and that's why I use it. Not that it's easy, because it's a lot more powerful. Because you know they have built-in shadow catchers, and it's pretty, really good. Yeah, alright, well, whatever. Bottom line, I don't know how to remove this. I'll figure that out and make another tutorial about it. But go into your node compositor to add the background. I don't know. Okay, well, you know what? I'll tell you something. I'll teach you a trick. I'm not going to teach you how to render out the background with the footage, because if you use After Effects or any other compositing software, you actually don't render the background out, and that's very important, because you just want to make a transparent copy of this and then send it off to whatever compositing software you're using. But, you know, I'm going to figure, I think, I'm wondering something, get my material, I'm wondering if they ever added, yeah, okay, in Blender, cycles you can't do it, but yeah. I'll make a separate tutorial on compositing objects in 3D space, and that'll cover 3ds Max and Blender, like this one will. But it'll cover going into After Effects. It'll cover going into After. It won't. It'll be on a different scene, so I'll quickly show you how to track it using VooCat. I'll go ahead and go through and track it. Go ahead and set it up in Blender. Then I'll set it up in 3ds Max. Just go and render. Then I'll use Hit Film and After Effects for compositing. So you get like an entire package there. But this was really just an in-depth tutorial on VooCat. Not really this much, but not really anything else. So yeah. Render transparency. The last time I checked, it was just fine where you're exporting. Make sure it's 32-bit. But anyway, that's that. So let's go and jump into Max, which I know really well now. Going over to 3ds Max. That's one nice thing about Blender, is it doesn't take a billion years to start. But then again, 3ds Max needs to load a lot more. So, all right, here we go. Going up to import the scene, go up to Max Script and click Run Script. And you want to go ahead and go to your desktop where it was saved. Go and find the track 3ds Max Script and click Open. As you can see, it goes and import. And one thing you'll notice is the grid is in the right frickin' place. Look at this. Look at this. The grid is in the right place. And you're like, what? Holy crap. It's in the right place. Blows your mind, right? Okay. Go ahead and go to your active camera. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that because that screws up my perspective view. I'm going to go up here. Turn this to realistic. Go ahead and go to camera. Just go to cam. Scale that up. Booyah. Check it out. That's some prime steak right there. Just ignore me. I'm going over myself. Okay. So to go ahead and add your viewport background here, go to Views, Viewport Background, Figure Viewport Background, Use Files, select your file. In this case, it's my desktop. This one. Go and select the first image. Make sure sequence is checked. Press open. You'll get this little dialog. Make sure everything's okay. And press OK. Make sure you click match bitmap. And press animate background. And press OK. There you go. Ta-da! And you go into time configuration. I forgot to mention this in Blender, but you have to make sure that oh yeah, right. It will set this up for you, but otherwise you have to make sure those are the same. And one thing you'll notice, if I'm just scrolling through here, you'll notice my scene changes, but that background doesn't. Well, that's just because it doesn't have real-time updating for the viewport background. I'm sure there's a way to fix that, but I haven't gotten that far yet. So, but if you just drop it, you know, that'll go ahead and update, so it's really not that big of a problem for me. One thing you'll notice is when we were in, what's its name? VooCat, our footage, we could actually see the actor's head, and that's not the case here. Well, first thing I want to do to solve this problem is show save frames. There you go. And as you can see, just make sure show save frames is checked, and you'll go ahead and see what I see like this. And since we have our grid, check how easy it is to place an object, whatever the frick you want. We'll go my perspective view. Check this out. As you can see, everything is flat on the frickin' grid. This is amazing. Okay. And one thing I forgot, or one thing you guys probably noticed, but I didn't, is see how the grid's positioned. It's actually positioned almost the right way. As you can see, there's like, it's like so close. If I go ahead and show you here, so close to being positioned the right way. This literally needs to, this here needs to be here, here, and here. This needs to be rotated just a slight bit, but if this is so close, it won't even matter. Yeah, let's go perspective and go ahead and let's see, what do I want to do? She's like a wall. I don't know. We could do something with ray fire, p-flow. And this is not, you know what, I'm not going to do something with ray fire because then everyone's going to yell at me and say, blah, 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 you can explain this. Well, yeah. So, oh yeah, and I completely take tutorial requests if you do ask them. Well, let's just go ahead and add a teapot. I mean, right? Teapot. It's like realistic. I usually turn up segments to be about 36 for realistic compositing. I recommend you do the same. We could just do a huge teapot, but then that wouldn't look right. Let's try to make it the same size. No, we're going to make it a big teapot. And you can change the spout, lid, whatever you want. I usually just leave this all on. Smooth, make sure that's turned on. As you can see, you can position this next to her feet. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do. See, that's what. As you can see, the camera actually has the movement like that, which is really nice. And that's right next to her feet. I'm going to go ahead and not rotate. Actually, you know what? I am going to rotate this. I'm going to rotate this so it looks like this. Move this just away from her feet and push it over just a little bit more. So it's right here. Okay. Booyah. Make sure everything's set up correctly. Push it back a little bit here. Push it down just a little bit. And booyah. Let's go. Ah, man, I really need to stop saying that. Let's go ahead and go to our other view. Go out by over here, but by the way. Or spacebar will do the same thing. Let's see. But yeah, otherwise, you're fine. Okay, and as you can see, our teapot's like way too big to be realistic. No offense, but it's like way too big now I'm thinking about it. Teapots, I would say, are about that size. And rotate, I wanted this to be like, now let's just put it like this. Move. There you go. And as you can see, it actually stays in a pretty good position. Whoa. Oh, right. So if you're not thinking and you're like late at night or whatever, and you're just doing this, and you're going to be like, what just happened? It's not lining up. Yeah, that kind of freaks me out too. As you can see, it'll line up just fine now. It lines up fine. It's in the right place. But yeah, that can seriously freak you out. But as you can see, if you do press the play button, the background isn't changed, and that's a pain in the butt. But and when I do the compositing tutorial, I will teach you. I will learn how to fix this. And if there is no way, there is thing. But I'm pretty sure there's a way because this is 3ds Max. But yeah, let's go ahead and texture this. Let's use mental ray. To get to mental ray, make sure go down to here. Sign render, mental ray. As you can see, it's set up our height and stuff for us already. Material, let's just call this, I don't know, teapot. Go ahead and go here, side here. Go ahead and go to Autodesk Ceramic, because our teapot is ceramic, yo. Okay. I'm going to change whatever color I want. The finish, go and add that to the bowl. If you go ahead and render this right now, the background's not there, but like I said before, the background shouldn't be there. You go ahead and show the alpha, that's alpha, yep, alpha channels. Alright, let's go and fix our freaking lighting. So, when you can actually see the lights, it's actually very helpful and easy to set up lighting, but you know, I'm going to be, like I said, when we're doing the compositing tutorial, I'll teach you how to set up the lights. But for now, I'm just going to put a random crap light. That doesn't even make sense. Okay, where it doesn't even make sense. I'm just going to go make a free spotlight here. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my perspective view because I could care less about it. Oh, one thing I have to show you guys. I'm going to rendering setup. Go ahead and lock it to the camera. That way, when you click the render button, it'll just render the camera. Here's our point light. I mean spotlight, blah, blah, blah. See, now I'm thinking Blender, and it's like messing up my brain here. Like I said, this is not a lighting tutorial. So if you're going to yell at me about how bad the lighting is, not a lighting tutorial. So just keep that in mind when you're about to yell at me. It's not a lighting tutorial. And don't worry if you accidentally move one of the points, it won't affect. Oh, and that's the other great thing. You can actually move these points individually in 3ds Max, unlike Blender. There. There you go. There's our freaking shadows. Oh, and one thing I have to do is configure this so that shadows are on. And I'm just going to use ray traced. Mental ray. Ray traced shadows. Be like that. And if we click render, you'll see our porcelain stuff. Anyway, that looks pretty good. Okay, now let's go ahead and set up a shadow catcher. Now, like I said, this is so easy in 3ds Max, you'll want to cry. Or put it very happily, you'll want to just be amazed. Okay, anyway. Create a standard primitive plane. Isn't that cool? We're done. No, I'm just kidding. We're not done. Well, actually, we're almost done positioning the plane, but make sure the plane in this case is actually as small as it needs to be. Scale, I mean, like, it's pretty important to keep it small. I mean, it's not that important because you can fix it, but yeah. Anyway, okay, blah blah blah. We're done. Next, what you want to do is go to the plane's modifiers, and this is very important. Apply a camera map. Make sure this is an under odd project space modifier camera map, and pick the camera. Oh, make sure it sets map aperture. Go and select the Viscoda cam, and this will be mapped to the camera. And that's very, 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 very important step. Well, actually, in this case, it's not a very important step, but that I just showed you is an amazing compositing trick. And you'll use that for everything. Camera map you will be using for everything. I just want to tell you that. It's like if you want a wall to be falling down, you're going to be using camera map. Something in the something coming up through the floor, a crater in the ground, you're going to be using camera map. Okay. Let's go into our camera view. Open our material editor. Call this shadow. Click. Check this out. Shadow reflection matte. As you can see, you need a camera map background. Select that. Choose bitmap. You can also do this one. That's actually built for camera map, so we can just go ahead and do that. But yeah, that's more advanced, and I'll get to that to the future. But for now, just use bitmap. You'll be fine. Then go ahead and select your app, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead and select this. Make sure sequence is checked. Click open. Make sure everything's good. There you go. Now go ahead and add this. Press that button, go up one, and add it. So you can see it looks a little dark, I'll tell you. But if you go ahead and render this right now, you can see we have shadows, and it actually looks like our floor. So there's actually two things you can do at this point. One, you could actually just export this if you know the background and everything is right. So how we can determine the background and everything is right and go ahead and add this into our scene is put an environment background. Go up here, go to viewport background, environment background, and I meant not to do that. Go to custom image file, I'll go ahead and change it back. Go and go view background, configure. And it occurs to me I am putting the environment in the wrong place. So use environments that you can't use files. It occurs to me now that I may need to select the camera. Where'd our camera go? Here it is. Now where is our... Alright, you want, never mind. Just do what I do. Just open this up, drag and drop up. You should be able to see 3ds Max, but dragging up the first shoot, I did not want to open that. Just go and drag that and drop that right into perspective view. Just not as viewport, but as environment back. There, now you should be able to render this out. There you go. See? And check that out. We have frickin' shadows. Is that not amazing? We have shadows in our scene. It just blew my freaking mind, okay? And since we used the camera map background, check it out. We actually have reflections on our teapot. And that is just amazing to me. But, sometimes you just want to render out. You can render this out just like this, by the way. I think we're using a symbol image file, which would make sense. I just want to something. Yeah, okay. Just ignore that. I only imported one frame for the. I didn't import a sequence for the environment background, so it's not going to work. You know what? Heck, let's just do that. And I remembered how to do it. It's somewhere in here. Give me a second, I'll find it. For all of you saying you can't do motion blur, freaking mental rates right there. And once I find this, I'll be very happy. Oh, come on. I found it before. Why can't I find it now? Well, this is not... a good day. Man, I just can't find it. Yeah, alright, well, whatever. So yeah. You know what? That's seriously bothering me. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go and pause the video. I'll be back when I figured out how to do this. Okay. So I realized how much of an idiot I was being because I decided not to go to the render panel. Go to environment. Wow, really? I mean, select bitmap. Select my first one. Make sure sequence is checked. Okay, done. Wow, that's sad for me, to be honest with you. Now, just go to this frame right here. Render this out.